I'm wearing this hat because tomorrow's hair wash day, which means Thursday is either a hat day or braid day or something that disguises that my hair is dirty and needs to be washed. I'm reading this excellent book called Crunchy Cons. I'll talk about it either this week or next week in my email, but it was written in 2006 by a man named Roger. He's actually the editor for The American Conservative, if you guys know that blog. I don't really, but I've heard about it before. This was recommended to me in college, so probably like 2012, by one of my favorite and dearest professors. I showed up to Baylor University wearing Birkenstocks and driving a red Subaru with my nose ring and all my rings and all my toe rings, wearing Chacos, or I guess Birkenstocks, whatever. And definitely looked like, and I was from Oregon, so my professors just assumed that I was super liberal. And if you know me, you know that's not true. Anyway, so my political science professor was like, when she heard what came out of my mouth in her classes, she was like, oh my goodness, you are so much different than I thought you were. And she said, you've got to read this book. It's called Crunchy Cons, and it completely describes you. And anyway, what is this called? Subtitle is How Birkenstocked Burkeans, Gun-Loving Organic Gardeners, Evangelical Free-Range Farmers, Hip Homeschooling Mamas, Right-Wing Nature Lovers, and their diverse tribe of countercultural conservatives plan to save America, or at least the Republican Party. Anyway, it was written in 2006, so long before all the stuff that's going on right now. I think Rod was way before his time, but he more recently has written the book. I think in 2020 he wrote a book called Live Not by Lies, which I've talked extensively about. It's so good. You must read it. It is far more about like today, right now, and how to resist the totalitarian government that is going to be our lot if we don't resist it. But I love this book because it's really put a face, or words, I guess, on how I feel politically. Yes, I typically vote Republican, but I'm not really like a big business, big agriculture, big government Republican, and I'm guessing if you're following me, you probably aren't either. I'm far more of a conservative, a Christian first, but a conservative second, a very strong conservative. And I think my conservatism, or our family's conservatism, comes directly from our faith. Anyway, Rod is a Catholic. I think he actually converted to Eastern Orthodoxy after the Catholic sex scandal stuff came out. But he's a really, really strong Christian, has a really, really strong faith, and his faith informs his politics, and he believes that about true conservatives, that their faith informs their politics. Anyway, this book is so good. I'll talk about it more, but I can't recommend it enough. I'm just devouring it. But what I wanted to talk about is, and this is a principle that I've thought of for many years before reading this book, but this book has really hammered it home. As conservatives and as Christians, part of our, I guess, moral duty or moral obligation is to, as I learned in high school about the wilderness, we had a program that took us out into the wilderness, and one of the principles is leave the place better than you found it. So when you go out hiking or camping or whatever, pack in or pack out what you packed in, leave no trace. It's one of the leave no trace principles, and leave the place better than you found it. And I feel that way so deep in my bones about wherever it is that I live, like my tiny little corner of the world. I simply want it to be said that I left it better than I found it. And you can do this no matter where you live. You don't have to own a house. You don't have to have a homestead. You don't have to have, the beautiful acreage out in the country. You can do it in your little apartment. Do you have a balcony? Can you plant some flowers on it? Can you grow a little herb garden in jars above your kitchen sink? Whatever it is, I think that one of our great moral duties as Christians is to leave, to be good stewards of the world. And what that means to me, and what I think it should mean, is leaving the world better than we found it. And I think I so often can get really big picture about this, and it starts to feel overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not an environmentalist. No, I'm not saying that we, can't eat meat or can't mine for oil. So then I get all confused, right? Because I'm like, wait, that's not what I'm saying. And so this book and some other people over the years have really helped me narrow down my philosophy to really just being about my little corner of the world. What can I do right here in my little home to beautify my little corner of the world? And as most of you know, we live on a 0.1 acre corner lot in the middle of town on two busy streets. So we don't live like out in the country. I don't have all this space to like grow and make beautiful and stuff like that. But I kid you not, it has meant, probably one of the things that's meant the most to me in my whole life is this summer people would walk by and I'd be outside gardening or whatever, and they would stop and say, wow, you guys have done so much to this place. And because I was working on it every day, I didn't really see the difference. But I guess to the neighborhood, we're the only manufactured home in the neighborhood. So we're like the ugly stepchild of, like, it's a bunch of cute row houses across the street from us, and our neighbors have brand new houses, and then we still have like the manufactured home on the like weedy, gross, like nettle filled lot. Anyway, but we have worked really hard to beautify our little corner of the world. We've got raised beds, we planted some trees, we just generally are trying to take care of it and make it look nice, keep the grass mowed. Well, it's not really grass, it's like literally, what are they called? Like stinging nettles. Thistles. But I mow the thistles. Yeah, and just trying to keep our little corner of the world, make our little corner of the world more beautiful. And even the inside of our home, like, how can I make this little tiny kitchen that I have like 2 little things of kitchen cabinets. How can I make this little corner of my little corner of the world more beautiful, more enjoyable, more comfortable, more peaceful, all those things. And I think that all of that is a reflection of Christ and a reflection of just how we view the world and how we care about it and how we feel about being stewards of it. So anyway, that's just a thought I wanted to share this week. No matter where you live, whether you live with people or in a city, or like I said, all you have is a balcony, or maybe you have a bunch of acreage. Hi, sweetheart, shut the door. How can you make your little tiny corner of the world more beautiful and do it well?